Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a beautiful, amazing day. I'm going to be doing a story time on my Prince Charming from middle school. And this is like a very weird thing that I don't know, I just think the whole situation is really weird. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and stick around for more future videos. So basically, I was on Facebook one day and because I wasn't allowed to go out, so all I did was I was on Facebook when I was home, and I would use my sister's laptop and just go on there like as long as she let me use it. And so what happened is I found him on there and I recognized his face, but he had his first name and his last name, which I didn't recognize his name, but I recognized his face, and I kind of recognized him, and I messaged him, and I was like, "Hey, do you recognize me? Like, do you know who I am?" And he like responded like instantly, and he was like, "Yeah, I know who you are. Like, yeah, I remember you. How are you? Blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, you do remember me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "Okay, then I got the right person." I was like, I wasn't sure if it was you. That's why I messaged you. And so we just started talking about like what happened and all this other stuff, right? And so from then on out, we started talking. And he wasn't my boyfriend, but we would like talk, we would like flirt or whatever. And like we ended up hanging out. I think once we went to the mall when we were living at the specific apartment. We went to the I went to the mall. I was allowed to go to I don't even know. I think I was allowed to go to the mall that one day. There was a time when we went to the mall and my brother was there, and maybe I think that's why I was allowed to go with him, because my parents always had this thing like when I would want to go with my friends to like the mall or something, I had to take my brother or my sister or both of them. And so I think like maybe I was allowed to go to the mall with him if I took my brother. So I took my brother and he took us out to eat, and he paid for me, my brother, his brother, and then himself. So he paid for all four of us to eat. So I think that was the first time we hung out. And then my brother ended up leaving, and I stayed there with him and his brother. I say his brother because it's not really his brother. Like, this kid is younger than him. He's like my brother's age, and he calls them brother, but they're not his brothers. So they're like friends. So we stayed. It was me, his brother, and him, and we were like playing like at the arcade, and we are like hanging out. And then I ended up going home. So then we would still talk and try to hang out. So it started getting a little bit more serious. Like we were trying to rekindle our relationship. So after that, we would just talk a lot, you know. But he never actually asked me out. But he started calling me like his girl, because I ended up moving to a different apartment which was closer to him, because I lived in kind of like a different city, but now I lived closer to him. And so we started hanging out more often, and sometimes I would lie to my parents because they wouldn't want me going out every single day. So I would lie to them and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the library, blah blah," and then I would start hanging out with him more often. And after that, we started getting a little bit more serious, you know. But he never asked me out. Like he started saying, like, he would introduce me as his girl, but he never actually asked me out. So he would say, "Oh, this is my girl, Maria, blah blah," you know. And people just thought that I was his girlfriend, like automatically. So he just made me his girlfriend. He didn't even ask me out. And so after that, we just hung out more. I don't know why I keep saying hung out more. We basically hung out a lot. I ended up going to California. We would talk, you know, when you're dating someone, you like talk a lot. So we would talk, and I bought him some stuff from California. I bought him like sweater because I went to the Orange County Fair that they have. It's like a big thing. They have like huge desserts and stuff. And I bought him like sweaters, like, because there's like this whole situation. there's this, when it comes to the sweaters, like, it's a whole nother situation because it takes me back to, like, when I left my house. But no, I was still living with my parents when I bought him the sweaters. So when I bought him those sweaters, I was still living with my parents, and I gave him those sweaters. So by this time, I was already graduated from high school. I was in college. It was my freshman year in college, and I had gone to California because I think it was like my summer break or something. Or maybe it was the break before college. I don't know. I think it was like summer break or something. So then I ended up going to California. I bought him these sweaters. I came back, and when I was in California, I would talk to him every single day. And this is the thing that happened. So when we were like girlfriend and boyfriend, but he never asked me out. So when he told me, like, he started telling me like I love you and stuff, and we were like talking on the phone, and I was like, okay, like I felt weird because I don't know if I told him I love you yet. I think I would tell him, I think I would say I love you, and then he would say I like you, and then he would tell me that he does love me. And when he told me that, you guys, I was like, kind of like, because I like you guys are gonna laugh. Okay, so I like guys that are hard to get. So when he told me that, I was like, wow, I accomplished something. And then I was like, felt like less like attracted, I guess, but I still liked him. I just felt like, oh, what the heck, you love me too, you know, like. So I told him, I was like, dude, I was like, I liked you, and then when you told me you liked me, I don't know, it made me feel weird. And then he was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know, like, it just made me feel weird. And he's like a good weird or a bad weird? And I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't know what I just feel weird, you know. So then he's like, okay. And then like he got like kind of quiet, and so it was really awkward. So then he was like, all right. I was like, okay, well, I gotta go, I gotta do something. And he's like, okay. And I hung up or whatever, and then we would keep talking, but like less. And when I came back from California, we started talking less and less and less. And then I would be like, hey, what's wrong? Like, why aren't you talking to me? So we started hanging out again. And then he told me like he felt like I didn't like him because of what I had said. So we kind of like broke up. I don't know how we started talking, but we started talking again, and we would hang out more often. So then Prince Charming ended up taking me to the movies. Okay. So we hung out that whole day, but we didn't go to the movies until, wait, no, we didn't. First of all, I left my house around 6 or 7, something like that, around that. Wait, I don't know what time I left my house, but this is the time that I started rebelling against my parents, you guys. When I went out with Prince Charming, I had to be home before 9 o'clock. And this is the time I was rebelling because my parents were not going to let me go out with him to the movies. So then I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to go. Like, I don't care. I'm not asking you guys. Like, I'm going to go. By this time, I was already like 19 years old. Okay. And they're like, no, you're not going to go. My stepdad. He was like, no, you're not going to go. And I was like, yes, I am. I'm going to go. I don't care what you say. Like, you guys think I'm playing, but I'm not. Like, I think I was like kind of like smirking. Like, I was like, you guys really think I'm playing? I'm not playing. Like, I'm going to go. And he's like, you're not going to go. And I was like, yes, I am. And then he's like, I was already getting ready. He's like, I don't even know why you're getting ready. You're not going to go. I was like, I'm going to go. Because I think they were also leaving. They were going to go somewhere. I think they were going to go like into an indoor soccer game or something. And I was like, I don't care. You're going to leave. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to go wherever I want to go. So then I was like, I'm going, like, you're not going to tell me what to do. And then he's like, okay. He's like, you can go, but be back by 9. I was like, no, I'm not coming back at 9. I'm coming back when I feel like coming back. So then he's like, okay, you can go, but come back at 10, before 10. And I was like, I'm serious, but like, I'm going to come back when I feel like coming back. So he was like, no, I want you here at 10. If you don't come at 10, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he said. And then I was like, okay, you don't, I'm going to come when I'm going to come. So this is my rebelling stage, okay? This is when I had enough, because there's other situations that happen and I was like, this is not cool. I should be allowed to go out by myself. If I'm 19 years old, at least go out somewhere, because all the other times I had gone out, I had to take, majority of time, I had to take my brother and my sister. So yeah, I ended up going to the movies with what did I call him? Prince Charming. Okay. Charming Charlie. I was gonna say Charming Charlie. If you guys haven't been to that store, you guys should check it out. Anyways, Prince Charming, we had gone, I don't know if he picked me up or I just ended up going to his house. I think I ended up going to his house and we were just like hanging out. We watched a movie at his house. We were watching like the Avatar movie. The one where there's like blue people. And I didn't like that movie. I thought it was like the most boring. But he liked this movie, okay? And I didn't like it. I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't say anything, but I was like, oh, I hate this movie. Like, I don't want to watch this stuff. First of all, that movie is super, super long, you guys. I didn't like that movie. I think it's boring. I still haven't even... It's not interesting. It doesn't catch... It doesn't catch my attention. Sorry, I just got a message. Okay. So, my leg is dying. Oh yeah, we were watching that boring movie and I didn't say nothing. And we were like sitting on his couch and whatever. And we were like waiting. The reason we took forever to actually go to the movie theaters is because we were going to go on a double date with his best friend. But his best friend, you guys, I don't know what he was doing, but he was taking forever. And the thing is, when we were going to go to the movies, we were going to go... I think we were going to go to the one in the mall. We were going to go to the movie at the mall. So the mall is like probably like 2 blocks away from him. So he lived like 2 blocks away from the mall. I lived like 20, 25 blocks away from the mall. Like I lived kind of far from the mall. So his friend, we were going to go on a double date. His friend was taking forever. He didn't end up... Oh, my leg really hurts. He didn't end up deciding to go to the movies up until it was like 11, I think. 11 at night. Yeah, it was like 11 at night. By the way, you guys, this is the first time I was meeting his friend. So that's why we were doing the double date. So yeah, he didn't decide to go to the movies until like 11 at night. And this is my mistake. I think it was like 5 or 6 p.m. when he had told us this. I don't even know what time it was, but basically we had time to go watch the movies by ourselves. So that was one of my mistakes. I should have been like, hey, you know what? I gotta try to be home by this time. But the thing is, I was at my rebelling stage, so I didn't care, and I was like, you know what, I don't care, I can do whatever I want. But I should have been like, no, you know what, let's go watch this movie like now, and then like we can do a double date some other time. But I didn't want to, and so then like a whole other situation happened. After that, you guys, 11 p.m. came, and we didn't even go to the mall movie theater. We went to a movie theater that was closer to my house, actually. And this is where I made my second mistake. After that show was over, when that movie was over, I should have just took the bus home. But this is the thing, I didn't know what was going to happen. So the movie started at 11 p.m. And we were there. His best friend and his date were there, and we were sitting in the movie room. And before we went into the movies, I tell you, Prince Charming bought me soda, popcorn, candy, and he didn't pay with coupons. He paid with his regular money. Okay, just saying. So he made a good first impression on me. Well, he had already made good impressions on me, but I mean, like, to the movies, a good impression. To a movie date, it was a good impression. And So we enjoyed our movie. We watched our movie. We did what we had to do. Enjoyed the movie, and we ended up leaving the movie theaters. And I was like, okay, well, how are we gonna go home? I don't think his best friend drove. Okay, his best friend did drive, and we had got there on public transportation. But his friend offered to give us a ride, like give me a ride home with Prince Charming. So he was gonna give everybody a ride home. And I was like, okay, so this girl, first of all, the girl that he was with was probably like 16. I think she was like 16 years old. And I didn't know how old she was. I didn't even know how old he was. Me and my boyfriend, Prince Charming, we were 19. We were both 19 years old. This kid, he wasn't even like younger than us. Like, I thought he was like our age, and I thought that girl was 18. But this girl is 16 years old, and he was like 22 or 23, something like that. I didn't know his age, and I didn't know her age because this is the first time I'm meeting them. So, after that, he was taking us home, but I thought he was going to take me home, but he was like, all right, I'm going to take her home real quick, and then I'll take you home. And I was like, okay, sounds good. So we get to the girl's house. I tell you again, this girl is 16 years old, okay? It was already, you guys, like 12 or 1 in the morning. I think it was like 1 in the morning. She's 16, and it's 1 in the morning, and she's coming home this late. I'm pretty sure they kind of played like, because knowing my parents, they probably would have done the same thing. They probably like locked her on. We're like, no, you're not coming in here because you came in here, like you came home late. Like now you're going to sleep outside, you know, like that. Because I've seen them do that to my older brother. At the time, I didn't think about it because I didn't know her age and I didn't know his age. What did they do? They locked her out of her house. So he waited until they let her in. Like they were messing around. So the longer that they waited to let this girl get in her house, the later I was gonna get to my house. And I was like, man, like it's too late. Like it's already 1 in the morning. Like, oh my gosh, you know. And I think I had already been getting calls from my parents. Like my brother had called me and been like, hey, where are you? Like my mom's like mad or something. I don't know. Like I had already been getting calls of them getting like worried and mad and being like, what the heck? Where are you? Like it's already late. So I think it was her sister that was home. I feel like their parents weren't home. The girl's parents weren't home. And her sister was messing or like being rude and be like, no, you're not coming to this house. Like you came too late, you know? Like a good sister should. And yeah, like he waited there until they finally let her in her house. And that was probably like 15-20 minutes. So then it started getting later and it was already like 1 in the morning. It was like 1 something in the morning. He drives me to my house. Prince Charming takes me to my doorstep and I knock on the door.